Hi, beautifuls and beloveds, part 6 or 7, I don't know which. I keep forgetting. Okay. Picasso. There is nobody out there pretending to be Picasso or redoing his original works. You appreciate that original work for what it is, and nobody came after him. He is him. You see what I mean? Oh, there are plenty of other artists who paint and came after him, but they're not using his name or his work or his likeness or anything. It is what it is, and that's how I want my art to be too. You don't get to tear it apart. You don't get to cast somebody else in my role. You don't get to make money off of it. It is what it is. So everything that I made gets passed down the way it is. No remakes. You know, I know Hollywood loves to do that. Stop going to see these stupid films, guys. That's the easiest way to deal with that. You want something better? I was the originator of so much better, and then they stole it. I'm like, wow. Who's they? You'll find out. You know? Come on. Let me tell you something. My beautiful son has a sign for his future wife, and it's a dove. I'm saying this, it was very private, but since the corporations were eavesdropping on us, and again, I clarify, it's not every corporation, and I'm not going to name names. This is not the time for that. It will come, it's not now. But, you know, they're eavesdropping, and they knew it, so he's like, might as well make it public. And, you know, somebody put dead doves behind flattened, disgusting, I can't, I've never seen such cruelty done to an animal behind our vehicle on the ground. We have pictures of it, and I'm not going to share that. That's going to the authorities, obviously. How does somebody take that? And it's not just one time, and it's not where doves ever go. It would be impossible. Just, you know, just picture an animal just totally, not even roadkill, but just, it looked like somebody, you know, here we go again. Destroyed it by hand, and then put it by our vehicle. And it couldn't have been run over by because there was a pole there. I'm like, this is BS. And then I say, you know, all these corporations are doing this, you can go screw themselves. And I said the word screw. I've also said the other one too. And then somebody puts screws in our tires. And the timing's like really close to after I said it. And all of these like hint drops. And I'm like, you're not intimidating me. You're pissing me off. But you know, how is somebody supposed to take that after a while, you know? And it's just non-stop. After a while, you take it as a threat. That wasn't something nice. A, they vandalized our property. B, somebody killed an animal. Isn't that a crime in this state? I don't think it was an accident, because like I said, it didn't look like somebody ran over it. It looked like somebody just, you know, ugh. I don't get me started. Cruelty to animals, I'm like, don't go there, or babies or humans. I just, you know, I'm not down for this kind of abuse thing, and it makes me so mad. You know, so we've got this happening. We go someplace for the 4th of July. Somebody runs into me with their stroller. I had an injury, and it took a few months to heal. And I'm trying to get somebody at the location to help, and they're supposed to be all Christians, and they acted like very much satanic evil people. And then we find the American flag put into a planter where people shouldn't be going. Like, another hint drop. And you know, just constantly. We go to the beach. We shake out the things. We wash the blankets even. Clean out the car. And I'm Italian. We hit objects when we talk. And then It's like somebody took a huge container of sand and poured it on the inner fold of one of our blankets. And I'm not kidding. We have video and pictures of this, because we do video and pictures of every ounce of our lives. And I'm like, what is this? Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Whoa. The corner of my eye caught the pretty, ooh, pretty. Sorry. And so I'm like, this has got to stop. So we just recorded everything. Recorded, reported, and I'm like, just keep doing it. It adds up after a while, you know? And it's just like, this never happened before. This is not a friendly thing. Who has access to the inside of our car and why? We kind of figured it out. I'm just, you know, saying. You know, stay the hell out of my car. You're not supposed to be there. If you have a copy of our key, you didn't get it legally. Guys, be very careful with getting key copies made, because your key imprint on those, you know, one of the machine kiosks, they stay in there. Anybody who is unscrupulous, look at the news with all these people who work for different corporations, tech corporations, and they're listening to our conversations. You see what I'm saying? Don't put anything past anybody. All this digital stuff, I don't think is a good idea. Go back to the manual way of doing things. We do everything like that now. Everything. Everything, because it's the only fail-safe way to keep yourself protected. You know? Okay, so we go the OC, Orange County, right? We go down the Route 5. There's another story with this too. And we're like, why is the sky so smoky? What's going on here? No fires. And we see this plane, you know, that whole chemtrail thing. It was spraying chemicals in the air. We collected water, and the same chemicals that are being sprayed into the air ended up, in the rainwater. So I'm like, are they making rain clouds out of this? Very interesting to think about. Science again. No hypothetical BS conspiracy theories, just science. Which you guys taught me in your classrooms. Yeah, so we had tested, and we tested it ourselves. It's very easy to test this stuff yourself too, if you know what to do. And I'm like, that is really interesting. So we have it on video. When we went to the OC, you can see a plane flying through the existing cloud dust in the air already, and the trails. Okay, condensation only happens at a certain height and it disappears. It does not then spread into more dust and form shapes of clouds. It can't happen. And we have a time-lapse video doing this, as do other people in the country. We're not the first ones to do it, but we wanted to know for ourselves, so we did the work. We also go to the OC, and what do we see? A whole bunch of people, like how we see here, but more, like 5 times more. They couldn't have known we were going there, but I'm sure they were aware of us, because we're pretty sure somebody put some kind of GPS tracking device in our vehicle, and we expressly, when we bought the vehicle, no, nothing like this. We don't want that, okay? We'll take care of our own safety, thank you. And we didn't have our phone devices with us. We didn't have anything that had GPS. So, you know, they know how to track us other ways, whatever. And then we see all these other people that are watching not only what's going around in the area, but each other. And so we were thinking, you know how I said World War III is a corporate war, and we're there, people? It's here. Wonder if all these corporations are watching each other, you know, fighting and vying for territory. It would, at this point, nothing would surprise me at all. So we're thinking, my son, my husband and I were looking at the video and we were getting certain plates found out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's how they do it. Different plates on different cars going through, I guess, you know, like I don't know, a dealership or something where cars live, or where they can get a lot, rental places. I don't know, something. We're gonna find out. And I'm like, what is going on here? It's just this is fun stuff for me to find out. And like I said, I work for a private investigator, and all legitimate legal stuff. And so we're watching and recording all of this happen. We have our dash cam going, and I'm like, okay, they haven't taken notice of us yet, because we know when people are watching us how they pay attention to us. And that wasn't happening. But we could see them watching each other, and strange patterns of driving happened. And then we went into a store to purchase something, and the very corporation, not the store, but the corporation, one of that we're having problems with, that person was wearing their logo. And I'm like, you put all these pieces together, and like, okay, that's kind of strange. That doesn't really happen. Creepy. I know when we first moved out here, I'm like, this place reminds me of the Stepford Wives. That whole, secret society going on behind the scenes and people watching each other. And I was like, maybe I wasn't too far off the mark. Really, really creepy. I've lived in LA before, and it was 14 years prior to us coming here. Something like that, 13, 12, I don't know. But that was not happening. But I remember my boss, Aaron Spelling, telling me a lot of stuff was going down. He said, protect yourself, protect your artwork, and, telling me all this stuff. And I'm like, makes sense now. Really interesting, guys. So I'm not falsely accusing anybody or pointing the finger at any one person. Like I said, there are really a lot of great corporations out there. Guys, if you're a great corporation, be careful that you don't get the Trojan horse effect done to you like it was done to us. Oh my gosh. They invade, here, present, explode inside your corporation. Before you know it, they take over your board, type of a thing. Not going to happen with us, now we know. And this has been going on with corporations long ago, but it's just really more prevalent with certain ones. And I'm like, what is happening here? Why us? People want my commodity. So I was like, I said, I was going through my timeline from when I was a teenager, and I'm like, this is where the access started. And as time and technology developed, they found other ways to access me, and I'm like, oh my God, we finally figured it out. I'm like, that's how they're doing it. Let's go back to Labyrinth. Remember how from afar, oh, David Bowie, what a hottie, right? Unfortunately, he was a bad guy, but he did a good job watching in his little crystal, watching this one girl from about the same age that I was. Just saying. Very interesting. And when my girlfriend was saying, she reminds me of you, or you remind me of her, the character, right? I was a teen, still a kid, technically. I didn't really think anything of it at the time. I just thought, oh, okay, how nice, I'm a princess. She was acting like a princess, and she loved all of her stuffed animals, fairy stories. It was me. And I thought, oh, whatever. And now I really kind of give it a lot more thought than not, let's put it that way. But I was just kind of using that as a, not even a plumb line or a basis of arbitration, but to look at it. And I thought, there's a lot of coincidences in there. Are they really coincidences? Very interesting. And then we went through my old photos. Okay, look, I am not a brunette. I've never been a brunette. My hair has been deeper auburn to strawberry. As you age and your hormones and all that, your hair can change. It's pigment. I don't know why that happens. My husband was it's called a beach blonde or a toe blonde, something like that. And he was that way when I met him, and his slowly got a little darker as he got older too. Our son's had a light brown, very nice hair, and his is pitch black now, and he loves it like that. My father remained a blonde, a natural blonde, his entire life. My mom was a deep auburn, brownish and went raven, you know, not pitch black, but raven, which is close to it. So that's how they ended up with me. I was their little strawberry. Another one of my nicknames, right? And I had strawberry blonde hair. We went through my photo albums. My aunt gave me all of my mom's mementos. And I saw all my clippings of my hair. And I'm like, yep. It's a little oxidized, so it gets, you know, it loses its vibrancy and it gets faded, but you can tell. And she wrote in my baby book, and you can tell by the date and age of the page and everything. It's authentic, okay? Plus, my dad's a blonde. It would be hard for me to be a strawberry. And plus, we had strawberries in my family. My aunt had a little bit darker than strawberry, a little bit more brown, but strawberry, and another one of my aunts on my Italian side. So it's there in my genes, redheads. So we found the negatives of pictures from when I was really little and things that my aunt gave me, and people were color timing the red out of my hair. I thought, even when we were getting the pictures developed when I was a kid, I was like, why is my hair so dark? She's like, oh honey, it's nothing. I'm like, no, but I don't look like that. My hair's not really that dark, is it, Mom? She's like, no, it's not. Whatever. I was a kid. I didn't do anything about it now. And then somebody else would take pictures of me, same day, date, time, and everything of the event or the get-together or, you know, goofing around. And they had the actual color of what my hair was. I was like, how come there are two different... Here's a nice idea. Somebody was paid to color time those pictures differently. Done at the same lab, but only paying attention to our family's last name. We know it's the same lab because we have the envelopes, we have negatives, and I'm like, okay, so you think, oh, maybe it's the camera. It shouldn't vary that much. And my skin, look at me, I'm a white girl. I don't like when people refer to me that, because I have African blood in me, I have Egyptian, I have, you know, Mediterranean, but I took after my dad, who's very much, what do you call it, Aryan, very pale and white. I've always had very white skin, and I burn easy. So these pictures that we were looking at, going through, trying to find answers, they made me look like my stepfather. Because I don't think that these companies knew that my biological dad was a German, Swiss, Austrian, godlike beauty. And then they were color timing all the red and lightness of my skin out to make me match with my stepfather, who was not my biological father. But they didn't know that, I don't think. Things started making sense. So anytime a certain film came out with a certain character from a certain company, they would make sure that my hair did not look like that, you know, because pictures are evidence. But then, like I said, we have the other evidence showing pictures taken from other people at the same time, same location, same event. And it's like, why is my hair darker only in our pictures? And why are they making me look like this? You know, the brown skin. My mom had olive skin. My great-grandmother had brown skin. Sure, it could have happened, but I took after my father. It's funny. I can't make my skin white like this. How is that happening? You know, when I tan, which is very rare because I don't like sitting out in the sun. I did it once and I burned, and I learned my lesson as a stupid teenager. I get yellow, jaundiced, almost very golden, never brown, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. And then the same thing happened with my high school yearbook picture. I looked like a Mexican girl. Please, I'm not putting anybody down. We have that in our blood too, and in our family. Please don't mistake this. I'm not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that's what they made me look like. And I was like, that ain't me. It looked, and people who see it, that's like, it's really me. But they're like, that doesn't look like you. And I'm like, I never had black hair in my life. I think one time I might have messed around with that, you know, the temporary spray and dyes, and I think my mom gave me a whooping for doing it, but it wasn't, I don't think I have pictures of it. I might have one, but it wasn't my hair color. You know, it was a rinse in, rinse out type of thing, and a sign of rebellion. But I was like, how is this happening? And then, you know, you put one and one and one and one and two and two and two and two and two together, and since I know how to add, and since everybody else knows how to add, you're like, I'll bet you anything that somebody purposely color timed the red out of your hair. Let's go when we lived in another state, in another city. It was happening again when another film came out. And, you know, I was like, why is that person using my middle name? And why do they look like me and my husband? Because everyone said, oh, you should dress up like that, like them for Halloween. And I was like, well, where's dressing up? That is us. How's that happening? And you just blow it off and throw it off, and, you know, you don't think much of it. Now we do. And I'm like, do we have any pictures that were taken during that time? And do we have the negatives and all of this? Let's look at them. So we get the boxes of many things that my mom had, my aunt had, I had, and we're comparing things, and I'm like, oh my God, what kind of lighting did we have in the kitchen during this time? Was it tungsten? Was it fluorescent? Because, you know, it can tint your hair, lighting. Pictures might not lie, but lighting does, and so does color timing. And then I'm like, oh my God. We have pictures of me in this really gorgeous beaded dress. It was cheap, $10. And it was pretty close to my natural, real hair color at the time. 8 days later, excuse me, we were taking photos for an agent. You know, those preliminary non-headshot photos for modeling. And another one, I was in this bikini, which I still own. And my hair looked sandy brown. I was like, what's going on here? Looked pretty. You know, now I know what I would look like. And then when we got on developed, I remember saying something. I said, wait a minute, why are these two at the same place? And it's also from the same place that we're actually having trouble with one of the corporations now. It's all connected, right? And I'm like, now, in the present, every time there was a film that came out with my hair, me, they didn't want people to recognize me and think that I was the source for the characters or the story or anything like that. Because I was more, I was a very poor girl growing up, and then you know, my dad, my mom, and everybody started helping, and we got more money, and then my stepdad came in, and then I was an uptown girl, and I married a downtown boy, if you know what I mean. And that mirrors a story that became a film, and certain elements, and I'm like, it was very interesting that that was happening. And that very company was bought out by a corporation that we know we're having problems with, right? Later on, many decades later, maybe two, oh, that's not many decades, 2 decades, maybe 15 years, 20 years, something like that. And like, that's very, very interesting. So we started going to this one place, getting these videos, and it's just very strange that things that we have people helping us, we know it. Things that we should see, and there were certain things that we were like at my eye level right there. I'm like, and I get pissed, you know, and then like, we're buying this. What message is in this? Because there's something I'm seeing that's familiar to me. I'm legally blind, but I'm not stupid. And if I get close enough to something, my eyesight isn't perfect, but I can see. Plus I have eyeglasses now that kind of help a little bit, and I use a magnifying glass, whatever. So it's like, this is all very interesting to me. What is happening here? And the one thing that the corporations are counting on is, I've said it on the phone many decades ago, when you're doing film yourself and you have a busy life, you don't have time to watch stuff. Plus, I didn't want to pay for cable. We did for a little while. I was like, you know, I don't have time for all this. I'm running my own businesses. A lot of garbage being put out in the media and entertainment anyways. Well, why do I want to watch this for? My life shouldn't be filled with entertainment. Guys, wake wake up. I'm not saying not to watch any of it, but use moderation. Come on. So they knew. They knew that we weren't watching. They were hoping that we would never watch half of this stuff. Now we are. We're going back many decades even. And we found a pinpoint of safe things for me to watch. Because you know what? I don't want to watch my stuff that someone stole or however they accessed it. You know, if I watched that, it's because I had a hand in it. I was paid. I was given credit. But I wasn't. And so I don't want to watch that stuff. So for my own entertainment and peace of mind, I had to go back from a certain date. Now I can watch that stuff and know it didn't come from me. But from a certain date and beyond, we have to be careful and look. So, you know, we're writing all our notes. We're looking to see what kind of references, where did they get this character from, and, you know, all of that. And it's very interesting. They were hoping that we couldn't possibly have our old photos. You know how I said we left Vegas and we basically ran away with just the clothes on our back and just a few pieces of furniture. We had to leave so much behind and all that. There were people looking out for us who had everything. And I'm so grateful. And so we have everything, and now we have copies of copies of copies of copies of copies to make sure that we're covered, and that, you know, if something happened in one place, it you know, we have all of our stuff protected over and over again. So yeah, this is really happening. And you know, I just what do? You fight. You fight for what is right. You fight for your right to be right. I've had to fight for the right to live. I've had to fight for the right to own my own material, my creativity, my privacy, the words that I say in private. Look, if I say something to my son or my husband or my best friend, what makes you think you have the right to say, oh, we like that? We heard it, we recorded it, it's ours now. Maybe those words were never supposed to be heard again. And it's my prerogative, and the person who heard them, their prerogative, whether it gets used again or not, whether it's put out there into the world. Not your choice. Not a corporation, not a third party using surveillance equipment, not anybody. It's my prerogative. You know, I had a special gift for a very special somebody that I was holding, and I hinted at it. You can see photos of it here and there on various places online. I didn't reveal it though. I was trying to give them hope of how much I really believed in them and loved them. Even if it's at a distance, you know, you can't sever something like that. And I wanted to hopefully one day give that item to them, and almost like the commemorative, congratulatory thing, whether I would have a relationship with them or not after the item was given to them. That would be, I'm always open to anybody, you know that, but it would be their prerogative. But at least I would know that my task was completed. My task isn't completed yet. And wouldn't you know, the same people who have been giving me a problem, taking my stuff, I see that item in a film. You think I think it's God? No, I know it was stolen. That was my heart and that other person's heart. Yeah, we don't look kindly upon something like that. Okay, yeah. You know how many yellow butterflies I've seen in different things and films? Because I said, if I've inspired you, show me the sign of the butterfly. I didn't mean to steal my work behind the scenes using surveillance and all these apps and whatever you're using, and then put that yellow butterfly in your film or on your own timeline. No, I meant for you to show me the sign of the butterfly by posting it on my own thing and communicating with me properly. Okay? Because now all you guys did was totally notify us where to look even further. Stop it. You know, yeah, I'm glad I inspired you, but not glad that you used illegal surveillance against me. Look, I don't want you to have my work. If I did, I would have given it to you.